Objection handling in B2B sales. This is something that you obviously need to get really good at. And there's one specific phrase that I'm going to cover in today's video that when you're able to really get around this, it's going to help you a lot to move all of your sales prospects forward. And that is when they tell you, "Let me speak to my team and I'll get back to you." Hit the like button, by the way, if you've heard that before from a client. Because what usually ends up happening is the salesperson will say, "Oh, okay, great, yeah, looking forward to hearing back." But you usually don't hear back from them, right? And then the normal sequence of events is they don't get back to you, so you start following up and they still don't get back to you, or when you do reach them, they just say things like, "Oh, I still haven't had a chance to talk to them," or "I did talk to them and they weren't really interested." Does this sound familiar? So in this video, I'm going to share with you a very simple strategy that you can use to move these clients forward in your sales cycle. Here's the first thing that you should be doing when a client tells you, "I'm going to discuss this with my team and get back to you." You want to say something like, "Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. Well, what might be a little bit better is if we schedule a meeting so I can answer any questions that might come up while you're explaining my services." Now, in most cases, the person you're speaking to is going to say, No, it's okay. I'll just explain it to them and then we'll get back to you. But it's important that you ask this question initially. Why? Because human nature, we want to be able to say no. It makes us feel powerful to say no to something. So it's important that you at least ask that question, even though the answer is most likely going to be, no thanks. Now here's what you're going to do next. After they say, "No, I'll just explain it to them myself and get back to you," you're going to find out who it is that they're talking to, what those people are going to say, and then you're going to arm that person with the exact responses that they're going to need to disarm the other people they're speaking to from their objections. Make sense? So here's how it goes. They say, "I'm going to discuss this with my team and get back to you." You then ask them to schedule a meeting. They're going to say, "No, it's okay. I'll just explain it myself and get back to you." And then you say, "Oh, okay, no problem. Well, can you just let me know who exactly are you going to be discussing it with?" Now, it's important that you ask it in this way because it's somewhat curious tone. Okay? It's very different than saying, "Okay, well, who are you discussing it with?" Don't take that tone because you're not going to get answers. So you want to say, "So yeah, sure. So who are you going to be running this information by?" And be quiet. And then you'll be surprised. They're going to tell you, "Oh, okay, well, I need to discuss it with the director of marketing. I need to run it by finance." They're going to list out everybody. And then you're going to follow up with the second question. And that is this. "All right. And what do you think they're going to say?" And then be quiet. And make sure you have your pen out because they are about to give you some absolute golden information. They're going to tell you all of the objections that all of these other people are going to have. So they're going to say, "Oh, well, finance is probably going to tell me that it's too expensive because, finance is always trying to cut spending. A director of marketing is going to, maybe not be happy with the positioning." They're going to give you all of the objections. When they're done, what you do is this. You then tell them, "Oh, okay, yeah. No, I was actually expecting that question or that response from marketing or from finance." So just remember that when they say that, you want to explain to them that 1, 2, 3. You then give them the responses to those objections. So that person that is explaining your business on your behalf is already equipped with the answers that you want them to give. Because if you don't do this, I promise you, almost every time what's going to happen is that person is going to go in and they're going to say, "Oh, hey, yeah, so I spoke to this person from XYZ company. Their services are pretty good. And what do you think? Should we go with them?" The people that they're speaking to are going to say something like, "It's too expensive, the brand positioning isn't right," or they're going to ask them questions that they don't know the answer to. And your contact is going to respond like this. "Oh yeah, I didn't really think about that." Or they're going to say something like, "Oh yeah, I'm not really sure." "Okay, well, yeah, let me go back and let me check about that. All that's doing is stopping your sales cycle with that client or pausing it for a really long time, because you did not help them with the responses they're going to need, because you didn't know who they're going to be explaining it to or what objections those people are going to have. So by asking these very simple questions and then arming your contact with the proper responses, your chances of this going through are much, much higher. Now, there is one more question that you want to ask before you get off of this call with the contact, and that is this: when will you be able to discuss this with the team? You always want to make sure you ask this question, because if you don't, you have no idea when to follow up. You have no idea how soon you should be getting in contact with them. So ask this question, because if they don't already know when they're going to, this will at least force them to think about it in that moment. So if you're in B2B sales, definitely start using this very simple and very effective technique when people tell you, let me discuss it with my team and I'll get back to you. And notice the difference in how many more of these clients actually start getting back to you with a yes, they're interested, yes, they want to move forward, or they would like to schedule a call with you to discuss it further. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that now. I post these videos completely free, and to help me keep it free, you can just share this with somebody that you think can benefit from these tips or tips in any of my other videos. See you next time.